we welcome you to the 38th Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Pakistan Society of Development Economists. This year, we gather under the visionary theme, URAAN Pakistan, Growth through Digital Transformation, aspiring towards a $1 trillion economy through digital transformation, innovation, and inclusive growth. URAAN is a recall to reach the heights of growth and development. URAAN refers to flight using the 5 E's: export, E-Pakistan, environment and climate change, energy and infrastructure, equity, ethics, and empowerment. As said by Iqbal, सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं. Before we proceed further, I would request our chief guest to kindly come on the stage. Professor Nasir Iqbal, kindly come on the stage in the round of applause. I would request Secretary, Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, Mr. Awais, Manzur, Sumra, to kindly join us on stage. I would kindly request Dr. Nadeem Javed Satara Imtiaz, Vice Chancellor, Pakistan Institute of Development Economics. He is also President, PIDE-PSDE, to kindly join us on the stage. And Dr. Nasir Iqbal, Secretary, PSDE, to join us on the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Federal Minister for Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, Professor Nasir Iqbal Saab, Dr. Nadeem Javed, Vice Chancellor PIDE and President PSDE, Dr. Nasir Iqbal, Registrar PIDE and Secretary PSDP, distinguished economists, scholars, policy practitioners, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and Assalamu alaikum. There was a time when national growth was measured in terms of smokestacks, railway lines, and tons of steel. But today, progress begins with something far more invisible: a signal, a click, a spark of digital possibility. In this new era, nations do not rise by building higher. They rise by thinking faster, connecting deeper, and acting smarter. It is in this spirit that I welcome you to the 38th Annual General Meeting of the Pakistan Society of Development Economists, a forum that has long served as Pakistan's intellectual compass, helping us navigate complex economic terrain with clarity, courage, and collaboration. As Secretary of the Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, it fills me with pride to see this year's theme, URAAN Pakistan, Growth through Digital Transformation, which boldly embraces the future. Because what we are launching here today is not just a conference, it is a call to action, a call to reimagine development, not as a path we follow, but as a flight we take. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take this moment to commend PIDE for creating and sustaining such a vital platform, one where ideas are not just discussed, but translated into direction, and where research shapes the policies that shape our future. The vision of URAAN Pakistan to become a $1 trillion economy by 2035 is not simply aspirational, it is actionable. And digital transformation is one of our most powerful levers to get there. Let us be clear, digital transformation is not just about adopting new technologies. It is about rewriting the rules of how we work, how we learn, how we trade, and how we govern. Ladies and gentlemen, this transformation is already underway. Whether it is boosting IT exports, modernizing our agriculture with smart solutions, preparing our youth for the future of work, or harnessing the AI for climate resilience, we are already witnessing the early signs of Pakistan's digital takeoff. But we must accelerate this, because this is not just an economic shift, it is a societal one. The question is not whether we will go digital, but how inclusive, how strategic, and how swift our transition will be. The Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives is fully aligned with this vision. Through URAAN's 5 E's framework, exports, energy, equity, e-governance, and environment, we are embedding digital thinking into every layer of our policymaking. This conference's themes, digital resilience, technology-driven development, and inclusive innovation, are not academic abstractions. They are urgent policy imperatives. As artificial intelligence reshapes industries, as data becomes capital, and as platforms replace traditional institutions, we must ask ourselves, Are we ready to lead, or will we lag behind? Leadership demands inclusion. The digital economy must not become a new fault line. It must be a bridge to connect, to empower, and to uplift. The urban-rural divide, the gender gap, the skills mismatch, these must not widen in the digital age. They must narrow. This is why we must go beyond admiration of global best practices. We must adapt and scale them to our context. That is the spirit of URAAN. That is the challenge before us, and that is why forums like PSDE matter. Ladies and gentlemen, digital transformation is not a destination, it is a mindset, and it must guide how we respond to crises, how we deliver services, and how we build institutions that are resilient, transparent, and future-ready. Whether it's blockchain for governance, digital twins for urban planning, or artificial intelligence for public health, technology must become our strongest policy ally. As policymakers, we are here to listen, and we are ready to act. The insights, ideas, and evidence that you share over the next few days will shape the contours of the policies that will be drafted tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let me reaffirm the government's full commitment to a digital-first Pakistan, not because it is trendy, but because it is necessary, because it is the only way to transform ambition into achievement and potential into progress. Once again, I thank PIDE for its tireless leadership in bringing together this community of thinkers and doers. Let us make this conference not just a meeting of minds, but a springboard for meaningful change. Thank you very much, and welcome to the 38th PSDE conference. I thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Awais, Manzur, Sumra, for your welcome remarks.
We now invite Dr. Nasir Iqbal, Secretary PSDE, to present the PSDE annual report, highlighting the Society's work and progress over the past year. Dr. Nasir Iqbal is a distinguished economist and academic leader with over 17 years of experience in economic policy research, institutional governance, and social protection program designs. He is the Associate Professor and Registrar at the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, where he also heads the Macro Policy Lab. He completed his postdoc from Duke University.
Sir, for the remarks.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Nasir Iqbal, Chancellor PIDE, Federal Minister for Planning, Development and Special Initiative. Dr. Nadeem Javed, Stara Imtiaz, President, PSD and Vice Chancellor, PIDE. Mr. Awais Manzur Sumra, Secretary Planning. Distinguished guests, panelists, scholars, colleagues, and students. Assalamu alaikum and very warm welcome. It is an honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 38th Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Pakistan Society of Development Economists, an event that has for decades been the intellectual heartbeat of development dialogue in Pakistan. Each year, this conference becomes a meeting point where research meets reality, where numbers meet narratives, and where policy is not only discussed but reimagined. And today, we gather under the powerful theme of URAAN Pakistan, growth through digital transformation. We are not just here to talk economics, we are here to chart a new trajectory. This year's theme is not only a timely, it is transformational. And we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where technology is no longer a sector. It is the system, a system that can power economic renewal, democratize across the opportunities, and redefine how we govern, learn, and compete. URAAN Pakistan is not just a vision. It is a mission to unlock the latent potential of this country and do so. Let me take a moment to reflect on what PSDE represents. Since its founding in 1982, the Society has served as a trusted bridge between research and policymaking, a platform where empirical evidence challenge assumption and inspire solutions. We are honored to host 3 keynote lectures by truly distinguished minds. Allama Iqbal lecture by Professor Paolo Savati, Mehbooba lecture by Muhammad Yasir, and Qaid-e-Azam lecture by Professor A. Michael Spence, a Nobel laureate. And this is a tradition of PIDE. Every year we call at least one Nobel laureate to represent this very prestigious firm. This year, over 150 technical paper submissions were received, with 40 selected for presentation across 12 sessions, demonstrating the vitality of Pakistan research community. We are also hosting 6 high-level policy panels covering themes such as digital potential, fiscal transparency, youth, women inclusion, the digital university, CPEC 2.0, smart governance at provincial level. These panels are designed to provoke and actionable ideas, deepen our understanding, and ignite momentum for the reforms that matters. Now, I'm pleased to share some exciting institutional updates, thanks to the persistent effort and visionary leadership of our Chancellor and the Federal Minister for Planning, Professor Nasir Iqbal. PIDE has been reallocated 7.5-acre land to develop a permanent campus, an invaluable step for future of research and higher education in Pakistan. Under the strategic leadership of Vice Chancellor Dr. Nadeem Javed, this milestone is being translated into a transformative institutional roadmap. Dr. Javed has rolled out a comprehensive 9-point restructuring plan for PIDE, focusing on governance reforms, academic quality, faculty revitalization, policy relevance, digital learning platform, global outreach, funding sustainability, student engagement, and institutional autonomy. Some of the major initiatives already underway include launch of research center and policy lab, introduction of work-study program, a new governance framework for academic excellence. These are not just internal reforms. They reflect a bold reimagining of what a modern, responsive, and impactful think tank can be. We are deeply grateful our institutional partner and sponsor, including ADB, Rasta PIDE, Center of Excellence, CPEC, Bank of Punjab, PPF, and most importantly, Ministry of Planning for supporting this mission. Lastly, I thank the PSD Secretariat, the PIDE faculty, reviewers, organizers who worked tirelessly to bring this conference to life. As we begin these 3 days of debate, dialogue, I encourage you to be bold, constructive, collaborative. Let us make this not just a conference, but a catalyst for action. Welcome once again to 38th PSD conference. Let's take a flight with URAAN Pakistan. Thank you.
Now, for the presidential address, I'm about to invite Dr. Nadeem Javed Satara Imtiaz, Vice Chancellor of Pakistan Institute of Development Economics and President of PSDE. Dr. Nadeem Javed Satara Imtiaz is an accomplished economist and academic. Currently serving as the Vice Chancellor of PIDE, Dr. Javed has previously served as the Chief Economist at the Planning Commission of Pakistan, where he played a key role in shaping national economic policy and long-term planning frameworks. He has also been actively involved in initiatives like CPEC, regional integration, and industrial policy. Sir, please come for the presidential address. Give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Khurram, for a very warm introduction. Honorable Professor Nasir Iqbal, Minister for Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, and the Chancellor, Pakistan Institute of Development Economics. Honorable Secretary Awais Manzur Sumra, Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, Dr. Nasir Iqbal, Registrar PIDE and Secretary, Pakistan Society of Development Economists, respectable academics, economists, policy practitioners, and very dear students. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and great privilege to welcome you all to the 38th Annual General Meeting of Pakistan Society of Development Economists. Today, we came together under a theme that is not just timely but very crucial, and that is URAAN Pakistan, growth through digital transformation. That is the second E of this framework. So let me confess something right at the beginning, that today I stand before you not as the chief economist of the government, rather the one who had a mind to work every minor detail, check every comma, and make sure nothing sounds too bold for the file to carry. So today I'm here in what I'm called that as an academic or a professorial mode, and let me tell you that it feels very liberating. So you see that academics get away with all sorts of things. They ask hard questions. They try to find the answers for hard questions. We connect dots, and sometimes we even make up new theories. We don't need clearance notes and approvals of the summaries, just as it happens in the government. So this is the new founded freedom, and let me take you on a journey. Let's walk through some stories of the great economists, lived experience, and few timeless economic ideas, yet the old ones, but still they speak to our present, and the new one that we can create out of them. So a theory that tries to capture what it really means for a country like Pakistan and to catch up, to leap ahead, and to build a future that's not just borrowed, but truly our own. So we'll meet on this journey, and in this story, we'll meet some famous economists, visit a village powered by solar light, peek into the lives of freelancers working from small towns, and yes, we'll climb a metaphorical ladder together, a ladder I call the leapfrogging ladder theory. More on that is just a bit, and that is that, but if I sound unusually candid today, then blame it onto the academic freedom I just have in this new role. So before getting into the nuances, let me begin with a story from the streets of rural Pakistan, where a young girl named Nida logs into a free online coding class through her brother's second-hand phone beneath a solar-powered bulb. She dreams of building an app to help her mother, who sells embroidered shawls beyond the village and sometimes beyond the borders. She never heard of American historian and professor Granhanskin, and nor of the American economist Abramovich, but she lives these theories every single day in her life. So in fact, Nida's story is basically Pakistan's story. Rather, every developing country's youth and kind of a young individual story. A story of possibility wrapped in paradox, a story of country standing between the weight of its past and the pull of its future. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I will take you through a few economic concepts very quickly. These are ideas drawn from our life, from field work, and yes, from my journey through the bureaucracy and beyond. So I will take you from Granhanskin's 1962 very seminal work, over where he introduced the concept of advantages of backwardness. So it sounds very silly that what kind of an advantage that could be to have or stay backward. But yet, what was his, key rationale behind that I will share. And then adding it to the Abramovich's 1986 concept of absorptive capacity. So ultimately, this is a new framework that we can develop from this, and that is a leapfrogging ladder theory. So the leapfrogging ladder theory is a conceptual framework that explains that how developing countries can accelerate economic and institutional progress by strategically bypassing the traditional stages of development through the adoption of mature, frontier technologies, enabled by digital infrastructure, youth-driven innovations, and adaptive governance systems. Let me guide you through how these ideas converge and why they hold the key to Pakistan's transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered under a powerful theme, as I already said, this is URAAN Pakistan, growth through digital transformation. And how fitting the word URAAN is flight, that means ascent, that could be, you could say that synonym for liberation. But the question is how high we can rise without the launch pad. So without a direction and without the fuel. So that launch pad must be a new economic imagination, one that blends theory and practice, tradition and technology, institutions and innovation. Because the truth be bold, and we have spent for too long playing catch-up and technological catch-up kind of thing, but always trapped in bureaucratic inertia, institutional ambiguity, and the development model, perhaps that has lived its life and doesn't fit anymore. But let me pause here and invite you into a very key idea of today's presidential address, that back in 1962, Alexander Gromyko proposed that countries which are economically backward aren't doomed, rather they actually have a unique advantage, and that is advantage of backwardness. So they can skip the slow learning curves, adopt mature technologies, and move faster than early developers, and it's a kind of shortcut through the history. And there is a very glaring example of South Korea, China, Singapore, which are very recent, who have followed the same trajectory and bypassed all those rostro stages of five stages of development, and they were able to hard hit the economic development goals to achieve. So then, if we add the Moses Abramovich's 1986 concept that remind us that catching up is only possible if the country has the capacity to absorb what it borrows. And when I'm saying borrowing, it doesn't mean is only in terms of monetary borrowings, rather when it comes to the importing of technology, importing of ideas. So this all borrowings can only help us if we have the absorptive capacity. And what it means, the ability to internalize, adopt external innovations, which become the hidden engine then behind the growth miracles, which has happened in the examples I have just mentioned. So ladies and gentlemen, these theories were written in a different word and different context. My contribution, I say, is very humbly but very firmly is to blend and connect these legacies to the Pakistan digital movement. So I call it the leapfrogging ladder theory. It suggests that developing countries like Pakistan can rise not in linear trajectory, but in agile leaps by intensifying and identifying critical stages like technological adoption first, then institutional reinvention, digital governance, and youth-driven innovations. So these 5 stages can help us to leapfrog. But each leap requires absorptive ecosystem, and that system cannot be the one which is going to, stay stagnant, rather the one which is going to be very dynamic, agile, that can stretch and grow as the momentum is going to build in the months and years to come. So indeed, we are latecomers, but also we have this potential to leapfrog. So ladies and gentlemen, now let's reflect that why hasn't Pakistan leapfrogged already? More than 75 years after independence, we still wrestle with the absence of a foundational governance consensus. Continuity and policy implementations are a serious challenge. But despite this, there is a hope, and the hope speaks in digital code, e-markets on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. It's a revolution that's already there. It's our youth that is fueling this revolution in everyday life. So Generation Z and Generation Alpha are not waiting for the reforms which we normally talk about in our closed-door discussions in most of the ministerial settings. So they are creating it in the real time then and there through the screens, inside hustles, via global networks. They are Pakistan's greatest untapped capital and a great potential. And let me tell you, they learn, they think, and act very differently as compared to us, the old generations. So ladies and gentlemen, with this context, we must know that is the classroom still medium of imparting knowledge? Or is it a new technology platform which is fluid, borderless, and on demand? So today's universities are being outpaced by YouTube tutorials, Coursera courses, and other massive online coursewares, WhatsApp debates, WhatsApp communities, and freelance work cultures. So knowledge is no longer scarce. It is very much abundant, dynamic, and mobile. So where does Pakistan stand on it? So luckily, when we look at our figures, the situation is very, very optimistic, that the Pakistan is not passive observer. Look at these numbers, the 258 million internet users, we rank 9th in the world. 300 million mobile connections, out of which 145 millions are on the broadband. Pakistan ranked 4th in the global freelancing. Over 600,000 IT professionals and 75,000 IT graduates being created annually. A government app, Tax Asan filing, right now 1.5 million returns are being filed digitally on this app. So this isn't just evolution, it's eruption. So we are seeing a silent digital revolution, and the tragedy is our institutions haven't caught up and we are not ready to embrace this change. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now connect this to a very painful reality. Digitization has brought freedom, but it has also exposed fragility. Who are we becoming in this global data village is a very important and million-dollar question. So that's why our state often appears curious, limiting internet speeds, placing restrictions. So these measures frustrate, but behind them lies a dilemma: how to modernize without melting down, how to preserve our cultural and family values when this eruption is taking place. Let me be honest, we cannot regulate the digital future using the analog instincts. We need curation, not censorship, strategy, not suspicion, and that's a very important message we would like to highlight from this forum for the Honorable Minister to take for the government. So this requires a new governance mindset. One I wrote, one of my op-ed very recently published, that's beyond the red tapeism. And that is a mindset that moves from hierarchy to agility, from compliance to competence, from hoarding information to sharing knowledge. So we must redesign public institutions to be learning systems, not in AI sense alone, but in the human intelligence and common sense also to be added to that. So let me borrow from S. Mughlu's 2024 Nobel Prize winning work. He showed that institutional decay is not accidental. It is engineered through perverse incentives, contrived ambiguity, and stagnation. We must reserve this by creating intelligent state architecture, or where we have to reduce the discretionary powers of the government officials by leveraging the artificial intelligence and digitization processes, or where we can re-engineer our business processes in a way that the human interference is going to be reduced to minimal. So digitizing the nodes of citizen-state interaction and building the system where trust is built in rather than that's going to be checked at the gates. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the infrastructure of absorptive capacity. And yet, no theory, mine or anyone else's, will mean anything if we don't invest in human capital. Yes, we have Rast, we have Pakistan single window, we have telemedicine, but the truly leap and to catch up on this particular aspect, we need national digital literacy campaigns, inclusion of AI and data science in every public university's curriculum, mobile-first education for rural youth, and a culture that rewards experimentation and tolerates the failures. The private sector must see opportunity here, not just profit. Public-private partnerships in tech, education, agriculture, and health can serve as the launch pads. In just 2 to 3 years, if we act decisively, we could catalyze a productivity boom, emergence of new economic sectors, and a youth-led prosperity surge in the Pakistan economic settings. And ladies and gentlemen, once this happens, it will be irreversible. It will be our own, not on the basis of borrowed money and borrows development model. So what now? Over the next 3 days of this conference, we will listen papers, ideas, critiques, and models, but let's not forget what is at stake. The question is, will we harness digital transformation as a nation-building engine, or let it bypass us while we debate bandwidth license issues in this country? Let us remember Nida, the girl, the story I just told you, who is working with a second-hand phone and a first-class dream. Her flight is our flight. Her leap is the Pakistan's leap. The ladder is built. The moment is now. Will we rise? Will we take off? Thank you, and may URAAN Pakistan be our collective ascent for the nation and for the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Inshallah, we will rise, inshallah. Starting up with optimism. For the inaugural address, I'm about to invite Professor Hassan Iqbal, Federal Minister for Planning, Development and Special Initiatives. He's also Chancellor of PIDE. Professor Hassan Iqbal is a visionary leader, serving Pakistan as the Federal Minister for the Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives. He has been a member of the National Assembly of Pakistan since August 18. He served as Minister for Interior and Planning from 2017 to May 2018. He also served as the Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission of Pakistan from 98 to 99. Professor Iqbal also leads the revolutionary 5 E's framework, which aims to accelerate Pakistan's economy through evidence-based and policy-informed research. In your claps, I would like to invite Professor Hassan Iqbal on stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Nadeem Javed, Vice Chancellor, PIDE, President, PSDE. Dr. Nasir Iqbal, Registrar, PIDE, Secretary, PSDE. Mr. Awais Manzur Sumra, Secretary, Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives. Distinguished economists, scholars, policy practitioners, students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is a great privilege to join you today at the 38th Annual General Meeting and Conference of Pakistan Society of Development Economists. I commend PSD and PIDE leadership for organizing this prestigious forum that continues to shape Pakistan's economic narrative. This year's theme, URAAN Pakistan, Growth Through Digital Transformation, is both timely and visionary. It reflects our shared national ambition to embrace innovation, technology, and strategic planning as tools for inclusive and sustainable growth. URAAN is not just a slogan, it is our commitment to break the old cycle and inertia of low growth, low productivity, and low ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, under our government, URAAN Pakistan was launched as a national vision to lead Pakistan through economic, social, and digital transformation. URAAN is more than a metaphor for flight. It is a declaration of intent that Pakistan is ready to take off into the new era of opportunity and innovation. We are at an inflection point in our history. Decades of structural inefficiencies, fiscal indiscipline, political volatility, and missed opportunities have left our economy vulnerable to shocks, both internal and external. Over past 20 years, we have had to approach IMF nearly a dozen times. URAAN Pakistan is a statement that it must change. Pakistan is not underdeveloped, it is undermanaged. And it is about time that we put Pakistan on a course that people of Pakistan rightly deserve. What I would also like to say here that on this forum we have an assembly of very distinguished economists of the country. The role of economists in any society is very critical for its development trajectory. Because, as you know better than me, economics, which is called queen of the social sciences, is a subject which allows you to understand how societies deal with the scarce resources it has, how societies make choices about using or utilizing their resources. So therefore, the role of economists serves as a very critical contribution in terms of helping societies chart their future on development trajectory. Now, Pakistan has had its own share of problems. And if, as I was saying, that we have faced these structural challenges, fiscal challenges, political economy challenges, if we have to break from this cycle, how do we move forward? Any solution depends how accurately have you diagnosed the problem. If you are not able to diagnose the root cause of the problem, you can never be on mark for its solution. I have been student of this sector or this area in most of my public life, dealing with development challenges. And I have heard all sorts of explanations that why Pakistan could not be where it ought to be. But I have not seen very conclusive theory or literature which really pinpoints the real cause where we are, why we are. Someone will say कि जी corruption हो गई, someone will say governance ठीक नहीं थी, someone will say some other explanation. But why are we here where we are? Are Bangladeshis, Indians, in any classification of socio-economics definition better than us? हम साउथ एशिया के एक जैसे लोग हैं ना, वो हमसे क्या सुरखाब के पर लगे हैं कि वो बेहतर हैं? Are we lacking in our intelligence? Are we lacking in our hard work? Are we lacking in our resources? Are we lacking in our ability to plan? I mean, we have world-class capabilities. तो क्यों हम नहीं जा सक रहे? In URAAN Pakistan, we have tried to identify why other countries have moved forward and why we have lagged behind. If you look at all successful examples, तो आपको ये पता चलेगा कि जो ममालिक कामयाब हुए, उन्होंने 4 सतूनों पर एक इकोसिस्टम खड़ा किया. जिनकी फार्मिंग बैकग्राउंड है, they will know you can have the best of the best seed. आप गंदम का बेहतरीन बीज ले आए, लेकिन आज आप उसे खेत में लगाएंगे वो नहीं उगेगा. उगना चाहिए नहीं, क्यों नहीं उगेगा? क्योंकि मौसम नहीं है. आप موسم کے دوران اس بیج کو لگائیں، کھیت تیار نہ کریں، وہ نہیں اگے گا. اور اگر آپ موسم میں لگائیں گے، آپ اس کو کھیت بھی تیار کریں گے، لیکن اس کی آب و ہوا، ویدر شاک آ جائے گا، کلائمیٹ چینج ہے، پھر بھی نہیں اگے گا. So seed alone cannot do anything unless it also has an enabling environment, ایک ecosystem. That ecosystem is as much part of that journey as that seed is. So economic policies and economic plans are like seeds. آپ انہیں پلانٹ کرتے ہو، لیکن if they do not have the ecosystem, they will not give results. So پاکستان کے ایکو سسٹم میں وہ 4 چیزیں جو دنیا کے ہر کامیاب ملک کے اندر موجود تھیں، ہم لانے میں ناکام رہے. سب سے پہلی پری ریکوزٹ ڈیولپمنٹ کے لیے پیس اور ہارمنی ہے. فار موسٹ آف آر لائف وی ہیو بین فائٹنگ وارز. ہم جنگ و جدل میں مصروف رہے. کبھی ہم نے سوویت یونین کے خلاف جہاد کیا، کبھی ہم نے دہشت گردی کے خلاف جہاد کیا. 10 سال کے دورانیوں میں جنگیں کیں، اور ان کانفلکٹس نے ہمیں، اس سے پہلے ہم 60s میں جب ٹیک آف کرنے لگے تو 65 کی جنگ نے ہمیں ڈیریل کر دیا. تو پیس کے بغیر، ہارمنی کے بغیر کوئی ملک ترقی نہیں کرتا. وہ آپ مثال ہر جگہ آپ دیکھ سکتے ہیں، چاہے وہ چائنا ہے، جاپان ہے، کوریا ہے، ملیشیا ہے، سنگاپور ہے، ہر ملک کے اندر. سو لہذا فرسٹ تھنگ. سیکنڈ، دنیا میں کوئی مثال نہیں ہے پولیٹیکل سٹیبلٹی کے بغیر کسی ملک نے ترقی کی ہو. سو اگین میں نے کوئی بہت زیادہ اسٹرانگ میری نظر سے نہیں گزری کہ ہم نے اس چیز کو ڈاکومنٹ کیا ہو کہ پاکستان کی پولیٹیکل انسٹیبلٹی نے پاکستان کے ڈیولپمنٹ جرنی کو کس طرح متاثر کیا. 1991 میں پاکستان پہلا ملک تھا ساؤتھ ایشیا میں جس نے اکنامک ریفارمز، لبرلائزیشن کی، ڈی ریگولیشن کی، پرائیویٹائزیشن کی انڈر پرائم منسٹر نواز شریف متعارف کرائی. پاکستان کے فائنینشیل سیکٹر کو پرائیویٹائز کیا، ٹیلی کمیونیکیشن سیکٹر کو. آج جو آپ کو یہ نظر آتی ہیں ٹیلکوز، آج آپ کو بینکنگ سسٹم نظر آتا ہے، یہ سب اسی دور کے بیج ہیں جو لگائے. لیکن 2 سال کے بعد اس حکومت کو ڈسمس کرنے کے ساتھ ہی وہ ریفارمز بھی لپیٹ کے ڈسٹ بن میں پھینک دیں. منموہن سنگھ who was the finance minister in India got SROs of those reforms from Mr. سرتاج عزیز، جو سرتاج صاحب نے کتاب میں بھی لکھا ہے اور اکثر اس کا ذکر بھی کیا. اور انڈیا نے وہ ریفارمز 10 سال تسلسل کے ساتھ چلائیں، اور 2000 میں انڈیا اوورٹیک کر گیا. اگر 1991 میں ان ریفارمز کو ڈسرپٹ نہ کیا جاتا اور نواز شریف صاحب کو بھی 2 ٹرمز مل جاتی ہیں تو آج نواز شریف صاحب کا مرتبہ ایشیا میں ڈاکٹر مہاتیر سے اوپر ہوتا کہ اور پاکستان ملیشیا سے بہت آگے ہوتا. لیکن ہم نے اس کو اپنے ہاتھوں سے ڈسرپٹ کر دیا. تیسری چیز، ہر کامیاب ملک میں آپ کو ڈیکیڈ آف کنٹینیوٹی ملے گا پالیسی کا. پالیسی 10 سال سے پہلے نتیجہ خیز نہیں ہوتی. انڈیا میں ڈاکٹر منموہن سنگھ وزیر خزانہ رہنے کے بعد 10 سال پرائم منسٹر رہے. پرائم منسٹر مودی 15 سال اب انڈیا میں، اب یہ 25 سال جو ہیں انہوں نے انڈیا کو ٹرانسفارم کر دیا. بنگلہ دیش میں حسینہ واجد صاحبہ کی جو بھی پولیٹیکل ایجنڈا ہو، لیکن ان کی رجیم کو 15 سال ملے. ان 15 سالوں میں ان کی ٹریڈ پالیسیز اور ایکسپورٹ لیڈ گروتھ پالیسیز کو موقع ملا کہ وہ جڑیں پکڑ لیں، اور بنگلہ دیش کہاں سے کہاں نکل گیا. ملیشیا میں ڈاکٹر مہاتیر کو 22 سال ملے، وہ ان پالیسیز کو گراؤنڈ کر گئے اور ملیشیا کدھر چلا گیا. سنگاپور میں لی کوان یو کو 31 ایئرز ملے، اس نے سنگاپور کو سمارٹ اکانومی بنا دیا. ساؤتھ کوریا میں ڈاکٹر ان کا جنرل پارک 10 سال ملے، ان میں وہ ٹرانسفارم کر کے ساؤتھ کوریا کو ایک نئی ٹریجیکٹری پہ ڈال گیا. چائنا میں 49 سے ایک پارٹی ہے، ہر پریزیڈنٹ 10 سال پورے کرتا ہے. موجودہ 15 سال لگائیں گے. ایک کانٹینیوٹی ہے اوور ڈیکیڈز جس سے ان کی پالیسیاں کامیاب ہوتی ہیں. جاپان میں پچھلے 70 سالوں میں بہت کم لوگوں کو پتہ ہے کہ 66 سال سے ایک ہی جماعت کی حکومت ہے. ان کے پرائم منسٹر آتے جاتے ہیں لیکن 66 سال سے ایک ہی جماعت کی حکومت ہے, لہذا پالیسی ڈائریکشن ایک ہی ہے جس میں وہ ملک چل رہا ہے. ترکی میں طیب اردگان کی جماعت 22 سال سے یا شاید 20 سال سے ہے, وہ ادھر. سو آپ کو یہ نظر آئے گا, یہی ملک ہے نا جو پچھلے 50 سالوں میں جنہوں نے ترقی کی ہے. ہر ملک میں تھرو political stability they have created tenures of at least a decade جس میں policies کو دورانیہ ملا جس میں وہ گراؤنڈ ہو گئیں. And finally these are necessary conditions but not sufficient conditions. Sufficient condition چوتھی ہے, چونکہ مصر میں بھی انوار السادات اور حسنی مبارک 30 سال حکومت کر گئے, اسٹیبلٹی بھی تھی, کانٹینیوٹی بھی تھی, پر کچھ بدلا نہیں خاص. تو وہ کیا مسنگ چیز تھی؟ کمٹمنٹ ٹو ریفارم. دیٹ وائل یو ہیو پیس, اسٹیبلٹی, کانٹینیوٹی, یو مسٹ آلسو ہیو اے کمٹمنٹ ٹو ریفارم, تاکہ آپ خود کو ایک کمپیٹیٹیو اکانومی کے اندر ڈھال سکیں. یہ 4 عناصر ہیں کہ جن سے ایک کامیاب ایکو سسٹم بنتا ہے جو آپ کے پلانز کو کامیاب کرتا ہے. ہم نے ویژن 2010 بنایا, 2 سال بعد ماشاء اللہ تو وہ چھکا لگا گیا. ہم نے ویژن 2025 بنایا, ان حالات میں بنایا کہ جب پاکستان میں اندھیرے تھے. لوگ ہمیں اس شہر کے اندر کہتے تھے کہ آپ ہمیں شیخ چلی کے خواب دکھا رہے ہیں کہ 2025 تک ہم 25 اکانومیز میں آ جائیں گے. یہاں تو لوگوں کے پاس آدھا گھنٹہ جلانے کے لیے بجلی نہیں ہے. ہمارا یو پی ایس ابھی بیٹری چارج نہیں ہوتی, فیل ہو جاتا ہے, اور آپ کہتے ہیں جی کہ ہم 25ویں اکانومی بن جائیں گے. ہر روز دہشت گرد پھٹتا ہے. کراچی بند ہو گیا تھا, ملک میں کوئی پیسہ لگانے کے لیے تیار نہیں تھا. اس وقت ویژن 2025 کو ایک نارتھ سٹار کے طور پہ بنا کے ہم نے قوم کو پیغام دیا, اس کے ساتھ محنت کی. 3 سالوں میں $25 ارب سی پیک کے ذریعے ملک کے اندر آیا. دہشت گردی ختم ہوئی, لوڈ شیڈنگ ختم ہوئی, پاکستان 6% کی گروتھ ٹریجیکٹری پہ آ گیا. پرائس واٹر ہاؤس کوپرز نے کہا کہ اگر اس رفتار سے اور ٹریجیکٹری پہ پاکستان چلے گا, 2017 میں انہوں نے کہا, آپ گوگل کر لیں, کہ بائی 2030 پاکستان ول بی ان دا ٹاپ 20 economies. What was that? It was validation of Vision 2025. ہم ویژن 25 میں کہہ رہے تھے کہ 2025 تک ٹاپ 25 میں ہوں گے, وہ کہہ رہے تھے 2030 تک ہم ٹاپ 20 میں ہوں گے. تو اس کا مطلب we were well on track to becoming a top 25 economy by 2025. And here we are in 2025. Where are we? کیا ہم 25ویں بن گئے؟ دور دور تک اس کے ابھی نہیں ہیں. اگر اگلے 25 سالوں میں بن جائیں تو بڑی کامیابی ہوگی. کیا وجہ ہوئی؟ کہ 2018 میں ہم نے اپنے ہاتھوں سے اپنے ملک کی ترقی کے پروگرام کو کلہاڑی چلا کے کاٹ دیا. چونکہ چند ہمارے اس وقت کے جو ججز تھے اور چند جرنل جو تھے, ان کے دماغ میں ایک کوئی سیاسی سازش آئی. انہوں نے ہستی بستی ملک کی معیشت کو ایک اپنے کسی رومانس کے تحت یا ایک سوشل میڈیا, دیکھیں یہ جو سوشل میڈیا ہوتا ہے نا, اس پہ آپ فلمیں دیکھ سکتے ہیں انٹرٹینمنٹ کے لیے, لیکن سوشل میڈیا کے ذریعے آپ زندگی کے فیصلے نہیں کر سکتے. وہ دیٹ از اے فکشن, اٹ از ناٹ ریالٹی. تو انہوں نے بھی سوشل میڈیا کے رومانسوں کے ذریعے کچھ ایسے فیصلے کیے جس نے ملک کی اس پوری ٹریجیکٹری کو پھر ڈیریل کر دیا. اور آج ہم کہاں؟ دیکھیے یہ ہے ہمارا المیہ. اس کے اوپر ہمارے اکانومسٹ کو, پولیٹیکل اکانومسٹ کو, قوم کو بتانے کی ضرورت ہے کہ کن وجوہات کی بنیاد پہ. یہ نہیں ہے کہ ہمارے اندر کوئی کمی ہے. ہم اگر ترقی نہیں کر پائے تو اپنی صلاحیت سے ہم نے مار نہیں کھائی, اپنی نیت سے بھی مار نہیں کھائی, اپنی کوشش سے بھی مار نہیں کھائی. ہم نے مار کھائی ہے اس بڑے ایکو سسٹم کی وجہ سے جس کو بار بار ڈسرپٹ کیا جاتا ہے. تو لہٰذا اگر ہم نے آگے چلنا ہے, کامیاب ہونا ہے, تو اس کے لیے قوم کو یہ بتلانا ضروری ہے کہ وہ کون سے پرہیز ہیں جس سے ہمیں اپنی زندگی کو صحت مند رکھنا ہے. جب کسی کو انجائنا پین ہوتی ہے تو ڈاکٹر جو ہے وہ جا کر اس مریض کو بتلاتا ہے کہ واٹ آر دا ڈوز اینڈ واٹ آر دا ڈو ناٹس. کیا آپ کے کرنے کے کام ہیں ایک ہیلدی لائف سٹائل کے لیے تاکہ آپ آئندہ ہارٹ اٹیک سے بچ سکیں, اور کیا آپ کے پرہیز ہیں جو آپ نے مرغن کھانا نہیں کھانا, آپ نے یہ نہیں کرنا, آپ نے یہ نہیں کرنا, جس سے آپ بچ سکیں. تو آپ سب اکانومسٹ جو ہیں ملک کی ڈیولپمنٹ کے ڈاکٹرز ہیں. آپ جو یہ قوم کو بار بار انجائنا پین ہوتی ہے, ہارٹ اٹیک ہوتا ہے, ہمارا اکنامک جرنی ڈسرپٹ ہو جاتا ہے, اس کی درست تشخیص کر کے قوم کی رہنمائی کریں کہ قوم نے کن چیزوں پر پرہیز کرنا ہے اور کون سے عمل کو اختیار کرنا ہے جس سے ہم ایک صحت مند ترقی کے سفر پہ آگے بڑھ سکیں. اور اس کے لیے میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ اب ہمارے پاس فٹ پرنٹ, ایک روڈ میپ, ایک ویژن, ایک پلان موجود ہے. اب اس کو کامیاب کرنے کے لیے ہمیں اس ایکو سسٹم کی حفاظت کرنی ہے جو ماضی میں ہمیں ہر دفعہ کریش کراتا ہے, کہ آئندہ وہ کریش نہ کرے, آئندہ ہم اس پر تسلسل کے ساتھ چل سکیں. تو یہ ایک امپورٹنٹ چیز ہے جس پر آپ جیسے اکانومسٹ جو ہے ان کی میں توجہ دلانا چاہوں گا کہ اپنی ریسرچ سے, اپنی ایویڈنس کے ساتھ اور دوسرے ملکوں کے تقابلی جائزے کے ساتھ قوم کو اور ہمارے دانشوروں کو یہ سمجھائیں کہ کن وجوہات کی بنا پر ہم کامیاب نہیں ہو سکے, اور آئندہ اگر ہم نے کامیاب ہونا ہے تو اس کے لیے کیا عوامل ہیں جن کے ساتھ ہم نے چلنا ہے. تو یہ ایک, چونکہ یہ ایک انفلیکشن پوائنٹ ہے, اگر ہم نے اس دفعہ غلطی کی پھر ہمیں اٹھنے کا موقع نہیں ملے گا. یہ آج سے 22 سال بعد میں بار بار کہتا ہوں کہ 2047 از دا مائل سٹون, جس وقت ہمیں تاریخ کو جواب دینا پڑے گا کہ ہم نے اپنی آزادی کے ساتھ کیا انصاف کیا ہے. ہمارا ہمسایہ ملک بھی اپنے 100 سال کا جواب دے گا اور ہمیں بھی اپنے 100 سال کا جواب دینا ہوگا. تو ہمیں اس وقت قابل فخر انداز میں تاریخ کا سامنا کرنا ہے, اگر مگر کے ساتھ نہیں کرنا, اف اینڈ بٹ کے ساتھ نہیں کرنا. ہاں جی بڑے پاٹے خان تھے, ہم بڑے ذہین تھے, مگر جی یوں ہو گیا, اگر یوں ہو جاتا تو یوں ہو جاتا, یہ نہیں. وی شوڈ بی ایبل ٹو پراؤڈلی سے کہ ہم نے پاکستان کو یہاں سے یہاں پہنچا دیا. اور یہ ہماری نوجوان نسل جو اس وقت عروج پر ہوگی, اس کو ہم نے اکوپ کرنا ہے کہ یہ اس وقت تاریخ کا سامنا فخر کے ساتھ کر سکے. So ladies and gentlemen, URAAN Pakistan's export-driven model opens new doors for policy-backed trade facilitation, industrial upgradation and regional connectivity, because no nation can grow sustainably without increasing its foreign exchange earnings. Through sectoral export strategies of URAAN Pakistan, connecting manufacturers to international markets and facilitating participation in trade fairs, Pakistan aims to raise exports to $60 billion plus by 2029, which is possible اگر ہم پوری محنت کے ساتھ کریں. اور this is the only way where we have to, I think we can guarantee کہ ایک sustained growth کریں. We have been a consumption driven, import driven economy. ہم consumption اور import کے سہارے ہمیشہ growth لیتے رہے ہیں. Now it is time to get growth out of exports. Export-led growth is the only way that we can have sustained growth. Growth must be inclusive through the equity and empowerment pillar. URAAN targets poverty alleviation, job creation and youth training, boosting employment by skill development programs and training to skilled workers to meet industrial labor demands. The theme of today's conference, URAAN Pakistan, Growth Through Digital Transformation, could not be more timely. Around the world, digitalization has become the greatest equalizer. Nations that embrace technology leapfrog stages of development. Those that resist are left behind. As highlighted by Dr. Nadeem Javed, digital opportunities are not just a sectoral priority, but a national imperative. Digitalization is not just about apps and portals. It is about dismantling red tape and replacing it with responsive, intelligent systems. In Pakistan, we are witnessing the emergence of e-Pakistan, a new pillar of our national transformation strategy. Digital is about reimagining our economic model. We are nurturing digital ecosystems in fintech, agri-tech, and green tech, creating jobs and attracting investments. URAAN aims to reimagine our economic model through Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, integrated into traditional sectors. Policy is being shaped to make Pakistan a regional IT hub, supporting AI labs, digital finance, cybersecurity, and cloud infrastructure. Pakistan's economic resilience depends on climate-smart planning. The 2022 floods caused over 30 billion in damages. Climate resilience is no longer an option for us. The government has launched Climate Resilient Recovery, Rehabilitation and Reconstruction Framework to build back better after the floods, integrating resilience into housing, transport, and water systems. Government has also launched Living Indus Initiative, one of the largest climate adaptation efforts in Pakistan's history, aimed at restoring ecological health across the Indus Basin. Ladies and gentlemen, energy is the lifeblood of industrial growth. Pakistan has a solar wind generation potential of up to 40 gigawatts by 2030. We are inviting private sector collaboration in green energy, grid digitalization, and infrastructures, PPP. Through this integrated framework, we are laying the foundation of a future-ready Pakistan where innovation, inclusion, and impact go hand in hand. One of the most critical lessons from successful nations is that there is no substitute for long-term planning. We often hear the question, why plan for URAAN Pakistan's 2035 when people are struggling in 2025? The answer is simple. Without a vision and plan, we are only reacting, never progressing. Pakistan's own journey has often been disrupted not because we lack talent or resources, but because we lacked continuity in our plans and visions. Every time we began to take off, instability, short-termism, and experimentation grounded us. We must learn from this and recommit to a national development vision that is broad-based, inclusive, and long-term. History has taught us that nations that commit to long-term, consistent strategies rise regardless of short-term obstacles. Success stories like Malaysia's Vision 2020, Bangladesh Vision 2041, and China's 5-year plans were driven by long-term commitment. In Pakistan, we too launched a bold and comprehensive roadmap, Vision 25, under PMLN government. Many of the foundational projects launched under this vision, CPEC, knowledge parks, energy projects, and infrastructure expansion are still delivering returns today. We must revive that spirit and commit to URAAN Pakistan's Vision 2035 of creating a $1 trillion economy by 2035 and beyond, because the problems we face, climate change, youth unemployment, productivity gaps, cannot be solved overnight. They require steady, focused, and data-driven planning. Let us remember, Rome was not built in a day, but it was built because they kept building. We have the talent, we have the resources, and we now have the macroeconomic stability once again. What we need is the discipline to stay on to the course and the courage to look 10, 20 years ahead, not just 10, 20 days. At every turning point in a nation's journey, there are always two voices, one of hope and one of despair. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, we have heard the voice of despair and cynicism too often, the belief that nothing will change, that dreams don't matter. But let me say this clearly today, all development in history begins with a dream and positive thinking, and only materializes through consistent effort and self-belief. If today is difficult, we must still dare to dream for a better tomorrow. We dare to dream when we saw the dream for Pakistan. Everyone said Pakistan cannot be created, but we succeeded. Likewise, we dared to dream when we launched Vision 2025. we envision Pakistan among top 25 economies of the world, and international institutions supported this view. Reports from HSBC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, World Bank projected that if Pakistan sustained its 2018 momentum, it had the potential to become one of the top 20 economies by 2030. We were on the right track, inflation was under control, interest rates were manageable, and the world was watching us with optimism. Then came a time of disruption, marked by political instability and uncertainty. The journey of progress we had set in motion was abruptly halted. The economy lost its direction, and the dream we had envisioned for a prosperous Pakistan was pushed aside. Instead of building on the long-term vision, nation was once again caught in the trap of short-term thinking and ad hoc decisions. آپ کو میں ایک مثال دوں کہ 2018 میں ہم نے 2018 سے لے کے 2023 تک جو نیکسٹ 5 ایئر پلان ہے سارا تیار کر دیا اور یہ چھوڑ دیا کہ اگلی حکومت آئے گی تھوڑا سا اس کو رد و بدل کر کے تو شائع کر دے. 4 سالوں میں وہ پلان بھی جاری نہیں ہو سکا, لہذا 2018 to 2022 was a no plan period in Pakistan. So we had no plan. ہم short termism پہ وہ چلتے رہے. Only thing that was prevalent کہ ہر بندہ جو ان کے ساتھ نہیں تھا وہ چور تھا, وہ ڈاکو تھا, بس. That is all the nation heard. وہ ساری قوم کو اور اپنے لوگوں کو چور ڈاکو کی تسبیح سکھا دی کہ جہاں کوئی مخالف نظر آئے تو اس کو چور ڈاکو کا نعرہ لگاؤ. اس سے ملک تو نہیں چلتے. اور آئی آلسو فیسڈ, میری وزارت کے لوگ افسر بیٹھے ہیں, انہوں نے بھی فیس کیا کہ ان کو نیب کے دفتروں میں بلا کر دھمکیاں دی جاتی تھیں کہ آپ منسٹر صاحب کے خلاف بیان دیں. کہ جی کیا بیان دیں, وہ دیکھو سامنے نیب کا سیل ہے اور ورنہ اندر ہو جاؤ گے. نتیجہ کیا ہے کہ پوری سرکاری مشین نے کام کرنا چھوڑ دیا. کوئی افسر 10 روپے کی فائل پہ بھی دستخط نہیں کرتا تھا. ملک ایسے تو نہیں چلتے. اور میں نے کئی دفعہ ان 4 سالوں میں احتساب عدالت کے سامنے کھڑے ہو کر چیلنج کیا تھا اس دور کی حکومت کو کہ میرے ہاتھوں سے 3200 ارب روپے 5 سالوں میں ڈیولپمنٹ کا بجٹ ریلیز ہوا ہے. اینڈ آئی ٹیک رسپانسبلٹی کہ ان 3200 ارب روپے میں سے تم 32 پیسے کی بھی کرپشن ثابت کر دو تو مجھے اسلام آباد کے چوک پہ پھانسی لگا دو. لیکن وہ چور ڈاکو بس کوئی ایویڈنس نہیں, کوئی بات نہیں, کوئی چیز نہیں. پوری قوم کو ایک نفرت میں, ہیٹ میں مبتلا کر دیا. اور اس کا ایک اور مثال یہ ہے کہ میری جسم میں وہ گولی ہے کہ جو ان کی ہیٹ کی وجہ سے ایک نوجوان نے متاثر ہو کے چلائی اور میری جان لینے کی کوشش کی. سو ہمیں ان چیزوں سے اب بچنا ہے. وی ہیو ٹو یونائٹ آر نیشن. پولرائزیشن کو ختم کرنا ہے. ٹیم پاکستان بننا ہے تاکہ آگے کو چل سکے. So, but now we are back on the runway. Thanks to tough reforms and responsible governance under Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, inflation is falling, interest rates are declining, and we are ready to take off once again. This is a new opportunity to reclaim our momentum. We must exhibit positive signals to the world. Let us not export despair. Let us export hope, stability, and opportunity, and Pakistani products to the world markets. That is how we attract investment. That is how we inspire innovation. That is how we move forward together. Today, when many Pakistanis feel disillusioned by economic hardship, it is important to remember that progress takes time, but it is possible. Only if we move with positive energy and keep hope high, we can turn challenges into opportunities. Look around the world. Nations that once faced challenges far greater than ours have risen through vision, discipline, and strategic planning. Their stories remind us that vision plus reform plus perseverance equals transformation. We must believe in Pakistan's ability to change its story, and we must reject the voices of perpetual cynicism, despair, and defeatism. We live in a world where technological revolutions are reshaping every sector, be it agriculture, health, education, finance, manufacturing, or governance. For Pakistan to rise and compete in this world, we must embrace innovation as a national mission, and that is exactly what the government of Pakistan is doing under the vision Digital Pakistan. I am proud to highlight a set of groundbreaking initiatives that reflect our government's unwavering commitment to building a knowledge economy. powered by digital transformation. These initiatives are not abstract ideas, they are tangible institutions that are already shaping the future of Pakistan. A major hallmark of this commitment is the establishment of national centers of excellence in frontier technologies. These include the National Center for Artificial Intelligence, which drives applied research in smart agriculture, health diagnostics, and urban planning. The National Center for Cybersecurity, which fortifies our digital infrastructure against cyber threats. The National Center for Big Data and Cloud Computing, which empowers data-driven governance and research. The National Center for Robotics and Automation, which fuels innovation in smart manufacturing and industrial automation. And the National Center for Satellite and GIS Technology, which enhances our capabilities in climate resilience, spatial mapping, and disaster response. In addition, under the Public Sector Development Program, high-impact projects are being prioritized to fulfill the vision of URAAN Pakistan. One key initiative is the project Cyber Security for Digital Pakistan, through which the National Computer Emergency Response Team and CERT has been established to lead cyber defense and readiness efforts. The Ministry of Information Technology and Telecommunication is playing a pivotal role in leading this transformation through the Digital Pakistan policy. MoITT is implementing numerous initiatives such as National Incubation Centers, the Digi Skills Program. Pakistan Software Export Board promotes IT exports via innovation zones and tech parks. The upcoming National Cyber Emergency Response Team, a flagship PSDE project, will strengthen national cyber resilience. We are also establishing National Center for Quantum Computing and National Center for Nanotechnology this year. Ladies and gentlemen, government cannot do all this alone. I call upon all stakeholders, our economists, academia, the private sector, and our civil servants, and above all our youth, to become part of this URAAN journey. Let's create a national culture of innovation and research. Let's use data and evidence to shape policies, not opinions and conjectures. Let's ensure women, youth, marginalized communities in every province are partners in this transformation. If we unite around a shared vision, discard cynicism, and rise above partisanship, nothing can stop Pakistan from taking flight. URAAN Pakistan. Let us commit today not just to debate, but to deliver, not just to plan, but to perform, not just to dream, but to do. Together, let us make URAAN Pakistan not just a theme, but a defining chapter in our history. Let us imagine a Pakistan where policymakers make decisions based on real-time dashboards, not outdated reports. Farmers use mobile apps powered by satellites data to decide when to sow and harvest. Students access personalized learning through cloud-based education platforms. Doctors in remote areas consult artificial intelligence-assisted diagnostics for patient care and treatment. Citizens trust their government because services are transparent, data-backed, and efficient. This is not a science fiction. This is all possible within the next 5 years if we make the right investments and choices today. The clock is ticking. The world is moving at digital speed. It is time to move from talks to action and together make URAAN Pakistan a success story of the 21st century. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you so much, sir, for your remarks.
There is still a wonderful addition to the inaugural session.
The Pakistan Institute of Development Economics is committed to fostering a research environment that not only produces high-quality academic work, but also contributes meaningfully to real-world policies and economic challenges.
For that, PIDE has recently launched a work-study program. The WSP is a strategic initiative aimed at integrating academic research with practical exposure in public and private sector organizations. This program aims to provide PhD scholars with opportunities to engage directly with ministries, industries, and organizations to address national and global economic challenges. Today, as we all are gathered here, we're about to call on stage first 3 PhD scholars who will take benefit from this initiative. So for that, I would request Professor Hassan Iqbal and Vice Chancellor PIDE to please come forward on the stage so I call the student and they may forward him the certificate. So very first, I'm calling on stage Sana Mubashira, and she'll be completing her PhD in Econometrics, and she will be the first one to be the part of work-study program. Sana Mubashira. Upside. Second student who will take benefit from work-study program is Ali Moin, who would also be completing his PhD soon in PhD Econometrics. Sana, please don't go far away because we want to have a group picture with the minister. Lastly, we have Salim Khan, who would soon complete his PhD in economics, and he will be the part of work-study program, which is a recent initiative of PIDE. I would urge Dean PIDE, Dr. Karim Khan, and all the 3 scholars to come on the stage and have a group photo with the Minister, Professor Hassan Iqbal, for the new initiative work-study program. So.
जितनी देर आते हैं मैं ये यंग रिसर्चर्स को कहूँगा पाइड के। देखिए पाइड का कोई रिसर्चर और स्टाफ मेंबर अगर टॉप 25 यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में इकोनॉमिक्स में एडमिशन लेता है, इंशाल्लाह ताला वी गारंटी यू विल गिव यू द स्कॉलरशिप। जाके पढ़ें और टॉप यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में बेहतरीन तालीम लेके वापस आएँ। सो दिस इज़ एन ओपन चेक। Any PIDE scholar who can get admission into top 25, one of the top 25 universities in economics, development economics or just areas, उसको scholar उसकी पढ़ाई नहीं रुकेगी, वो scholarship लेके जाए और वापस आके serve करे PIDE को और planning commission को.
Students, please gather for the group photo. Sir, after this beautiful offer of Professor Hassan Iqbal, we still have to give you the souvenir. I would request Vice Chancellor PIDE, Dr. Nadeem Javed, to kindly forward the souvenir to Professor Hassan Iqbal. Please give a big round of applause. Next, I would request Dr. Nadeem Javed to kindly forward the souvenir to Secretary, Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives.